Welcome to this week's edition of the Carvel Community Meeting. Today's date is probably June 2nd, 2022. We meet every Thursday, 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. If you're watching this recording for some reason, why weren't you here? You totally missed it, dude. Maybe next time. Maybe hopefully you can join us soon. It's an opportunity to listen to what the maintainers are working on, et cetera, et cetera. When you attend these meetings, we ask that you please read and abide by our code of conduct. If you have anything you wish to discuss with the team, please add that to the discussion topics at the bottom of the agenda. Additionally, when you attend, we ask that you input your name and any organization that you represent into our HackMD, which everybody present has already done so for today thus far. Skipping some parts of the script. Next, on to the announcements. Is there any announcements? There's just the letter X. X marks the spot. Dig for treasure.
I did want to note there's some kind of like math joke in the date for today. Something about like 6/2/2020. There's something in there, man. I don't know. I just sense it. I don't know what it is, but there could be something in the numbers.
Okay.
That's my
Well,
announcement.
good numerology. That's healthy. Sure, why not? Great. Any other announcements? Okay, similarly, content. I think this is about like blogs. We love to publish blog posts, except not this week or next week because nobody's written any. So moving on. Community content sharing. Oh, by the way, if you don't work for VMware and you feel like writing a blog, we'll give you a shirt. It'll be so stylish. You'll love it. Status updates. We have project roadmaps. Would anybody like to speak to the project roadmap?
Anything in specific?
I have no idea. I'm
I don't
just
think nothing
hosting this
changed in the
meeting.
last couple of weeks on the roadmap either. So
Yeah, right. There's no news on the roadmaps. Good. This week on YTT.
Yep. We're continuing to plug away at our validations feature. So this week we've been working on including some out-of-the-box validations. We have like the core plumbing in place. There's an experimental flag that you can switch on if you want. Take a look at last week's conversation around that. There's a blog post, our most recent blog post gives you a quick intro into that in a way to kick the tires. So we're adding more to it. We're trying to get it to the point where um, you can say most of the constraints that you want to apply to your data values without having to get too deep into any Starlark code. So continue to work on that this week.
Great. Thank you, John Ryan, the YTT's solo representative of the week. Usually there's a whole team. Image package. Would somebody who's probably named Joao like to speak about image package?
I can do it if nobody else wants to. So okay, so on this, like the last week, we started looking into caching and how might we create some sort of caching that would enable kapp-controller to have to talk so many times with the registry. Like we started doing that work, but then we kind of stopped it for a little bit because we do have some questions about where the caching might go, or like, are we doing it in the correct layer or not? And so we are investigating around that area. We also started looking into for image package, started looking into some performance issues when you're doing a describe and pull. The commands take a lot of time, and we're trying to find out if there's like anything that we can do to improve that experience. We saw that there might be some changes that we can do in one of the libraries that we're using. That's Go Container Registry, that might increase our timing there and the number of requests we also do to the registry, especially on Arbor, more than any other registry, because Arbor has like a different behavior from the other registries, where if you talk to the registry on the V2 path, it just returns you 401. It returns you like an unauthorized, while the other registries allow anonymous checks on that particular path. Arbor does not. So that kind of makes all the requests to Arbor like a little bit more complicated. So we're looking into that and see if there's like anything else that we can do to make it a better, like a more quick experience there. So that's what's been happening on image package. If anyone have any questions about that?
Don't we already have some caching going on with the credentialing, you said, right? That's what you said.
It doesn't really matter, because that's internal to Go Container Registry, and Go Container Registry just tries to authenticate again. But nevertheless, this is just a strange behavior from Arbor that we have not experienced from any other registries, but us will have to find a way to accommodate it.
Interesting.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. Is that everything for image package? Joao, are you also guilty of adding the only item under kapp-controller?
Perhaps, if you want me to talk about it, I can talk about it as well. So yeah, well, we noticed that the bundle that is associated with the package repository has some tendency to kind of grow, and it can grow pretty big with time if you start adding like all the versions of your software into it. And when you need to transport the image package bundle that is associated with a package repo from registry to registry, like everything that's going to be copied is going to increase and increase and increase, because one of the things that we've been telling people is you can put all your versions there. So we are starting to look into how might we address this to address this issue, and to try to make it easier for people that, especially people that have air-gapped environments, so that they install their software in a network that doesn't have access to the internet. So they need to copy to disk all the assets, then copy to that network, and then just push it up. So there's like this extra step that can be a little bit cumbersome. So we are looking into that. Yeah, and we have like a discussion topic a little bit about it, but I'll park it here and we'll talk when the discussion time arrives.
Wonderful. Thank you. I think we could leave kapp-controller for now. Updates on kapp. I'm actually not sure who wants to speak. Somik? Awesome.
That's me. Okay, so firstly, we've had users like ask for an easy way to look at the final manifest that kapp applies onto a cluster. This is more like a client-side dry run, I would say, which helps users figure out which rebase rules they want and what's going to the cluster at the end, right? So that's something we've been working on. And so we have a user who's working on something that's heavily dependent on Kustomize, and Kustomize does this thing where when it's generating config maps and secrets, it sort of appends a random string to it. It's Kustomize's way of versioning config maps and secrets. So one easy way of going around this was to disable this behavior and to depend on kapp for versioning. However, Christoph seems to be working with something that is pretty heavily dependent on customized. So they've been sort of working with us to enable a sort of implement a feature which lets CAP version customize config maps and secrets while ignoring the suffix. Yes, suffix. While ignoring the suffix. So that's something we are working with Christoph on. So we should probably invite him to the party. Yeah, I think that's it for CAP. That's what we've been working on.
Wonderful. And you know, the much debated K-control KCTRL tool. This is okay. Are you also going to speak about that one?
Yeah, I think that's me. Yeah, nothing new. So we talked about last time that we are going to sort of figure out how we want the experience to be when users are trying to sort of apply overlays while installing a package. And so we have been sort of plotting out how that looks, how we want to order overlays and stuff like that. So yeah, that's where we are at with K-control. We're going with K-control now.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. And now we, at long last, the moment you've all been waiting for, discussion topics. Joao, did you have something on your mind to discuss?
It's not really a discussion, it's more ask here. So we're trying to find people that are using package repositories to provide their software. And we'd like to talk to you if you're doing that. We want to try to better understand what are your workflows and how you're doing it, how do you separate versions and all those nice things about package repositories and packages, for us to try to provide, to see if there's like room for us to provide a better user experience. This also like as a relationship with the topic that I was talking about, kapp-controller, where if our image package bundles associated with the package repo are just going to keep on increasing, we need to have a way. We need to have a way to make it easier for the users, right? So like if you do have some time, if you're using packages, if you're creating packages especially, and if you're creating package repositories, just give us a shout out and we'll try to schedule somewhat of like 30 minutes. We do have some questions and we'd love to talk to you. So thanks, Scott. I'll be reaching out to you.
Okay, that's all for now, huh? Okay, great. And also our friends, David and by proxy, Sean, we'll just thanks both. So the other topic is from Lee, who isn't here. Some KubeCon follow-up. 40% of the workshop sessions were for TCE packages, 10% were for Carvel tools, and those workshops are available. Maybe was I supposed to be sharing my screen this whole time? I probably was.
Yeah.
It's okay. Well,
it
you
takes
can't
people
click
like
it.
us to tolerate a person such as yourself, Joe. So
Exactly.
it's okay.
Yeah. Thank you all for working with me, but you can't click this link anyway. But I could if I wanted to. They're hosted here. You can't click it. It's on my screen, not yours. And now we have a moment. We're already at the bottom of the agenda. And so we can have, I'll give a couple minutes for free discussion, thoughts, anything on the group's mind in the air. Okay, in that case, I declare this community to have met. Thanks everybody for joining. We'll see you next week.